As I told you earlier, one of the most famous athletes to come out of the University of, or one of the universities in Cincinnati, that is Xavier, went on to distinguish himself in professional football, and he left the game with one mark that I really admire, and that is 105 straight games in which he caught a pass. And the reason I admire that is that you got to play in 105 straight in order to catch 105 straight. But he is now a color analyst for the New Orleans Saints, and of course they take on the Bengals this weekend. I am speaking of none other than Dan Abramowicz. Dan, how are you?
Good, Bob. Talking about what I did for Xavier, I did so much for them they don't even have football.
I wasn't going to bring that up. You and Shinners and Biles were the last vestige of great football over there on Victory Parkway.
Well, it was an enjoyable 4 years I spent there, and Eddie Biles, of course, is doing a fine job with the Houston Oilers, and John Shinners is doing very good in the business world, and I'm doing relatively good also in the business world, so it's a tribute to the university.
Danny, what are you doing now?
I'm in oil field with Major Mud and Chemical Company. We sell drilling fluids to all the major oil companies and also the independents, and we're in the states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas. So it keeps me pretty busy, Bob. I travel a lot in the job and go to places like Denver and Dallas and that. But as you know, down here, the oil industry is a very lucrative business, and this is the #1 producing state in the union and the #2 in refineries. So I was just fortunate enough to meet some very fine people while I was playing football. And as you know, a lot of guys, when they're playing, they think that the game will never end and really don't take advantage of the opportunities when they arise while they're playing. And when it's finished, they can't adjust to the business world. And what I try to do during my career was to get around the business world and find out something that met my fancy besides sports, and then end up being the oil industry.
That's not a bad industry to be in, Danny. I know that for, I believe, radio station KGSO, is that what it is in New Orleans?
WGSO.
WGSO in New Orleans. You have done the color analysis for the New Orleans Saints for a number of years now, right? How many years?
6 years. I couldn't believe it the other day. Someone says, Danny, you've been doing it about 3 or 4 years, huh? And I said, well, yeah, well, let me think a second. And then found out it was 6 years.
Amazing. Let's see, 6 years, going back from 1981. What is that, about 5 head coaches?
Yeah, about 5 head coaches and about 500 players, some general managers. Astronaut came through here. We even had an astronaut as a general manager, Dick Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been amazing. I came with this team in the inception, so I've been here 15 years, and we were going over some trivia questions the other day, and come to find out through my career at New Orleans and San Francisco, and I went to Buffalo for a while and bounced around, played with something like 30 quarterbacks. It's hard to adjust to 1 or 2 quarterbacks, let alone 30.
Boy, you're not kidding. And keep that string alive, too. That's amazing. Danny, what was the last year that you played?
74 was my last year. I played, actually, I went to 2 games to Buffalo. They had picked me up, and I went up to Buffalo, and woke up one morning, I was sitting in there, and I said, really, what am I doing up here? I had 9 good years. The business world is waiting for me back home, and I have a family. Wake up, Danny. So I decided to get out of the game and get into the business world.
Yeah. Give me a thumbnail sketch of the differences you see in the New Orleans Saints under Bum Phillips and the New Orleans Saints you've seen before Bum Phillips. Last night we talked to Archie Manning, and he had some very positive things to say about the Bum Phillips coach New Orleans Saints. How about you?
The things about Bum that I've noticed that he does have full control. A lot of the coaches that have come in there said they had full control, but I believe that Bum really has control of the football operation. And another thing Bum has set out to do, and I think a lot of the other coaches tried but changed in the middle of the stream, he has set a pattern of young players, and also keeping some veterans around. Just for instance, that a lot of coaches might have traded Archie Manning and let Dave Wilson, the new quarterback that they have, the young kid that they received in the supplemental draft out of Illinois. Dave Wilson is going to be a good football player, but he's not ready yet. And rather than throw him to the Wolves, Bum is going to let Archie play a couple years and then move Dave Wilson in. They have some fine players on defense. He had a great draft, something like 17 rookies made this football team. And they've got a couple second-year men, and then they have some veterans like John Hill, a center who's been around a while, Derlin Moore, Eloy Grooms. But the combination of the youth and the veterans is going to help this team. Also, he's stockpiled some draft choices. He traded Wes Chandler, where a lot of coaches would have been scared to death to trade him. He knew that he was really in the system that Bum was going to. He runs the ball first and then throws second. We have a fine running back in George Rogers. So Bum felt that really Wes Chandler would be sort of wouldn't fit into this program right at this time. So he traded Wes to capture back one of his number one draft choices that he had to give up for Dave Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So he got his number one back. He has 2 2s and 5 3s next year. So as you can see that he is building for the future. He feels that if he can win 4 games this year, he'll be tickled to death, and then possibly win 6 or 7 next year, and then the third year that he'll be ready to make his move in this division.
And have the people in New Orleans, have they gone along with Bum? Are they supporting the New Orleans Saints? Are they filling the Superdome?
They're filling. We played Pittsburgh here a couple weeks ago, and it was a sellout. Then the following week we played the Eagles, and they had about 63,000. So that's not too bad from a 1-15 team and a 1-6 this year. So they believe in Bum. Bum has a knack, Bob, of I noticed it in Houston, and I see it here. He has a knack of picking talent. They got this boy Ricky Jackson, a linebacker here, that I think that got a shot at being defensive rookie of the year. They've got Russell Gary, the strong safety out of Nebraska, is a great football player. He's going to be a good one. Another linebacker, Glenn Red, he's a rookie starting also from Brigham Young. Johnny Poe, he got him way down in the 12th round starting at corner. They've got 3 young down linemen on defense that one of them is starting, Lonnie Bennett, who's a free agent. He's starting at nose guard. And the 2 defensive ends, Frank Warren and Jim Wilkes, are pushing Derlin Moore and Eloy Grooms for their defensive end jobs. Also, they just activated, for your information, Hobie Brenner, the tight end that they drafted out of Southern Cal.
Yeah.
I think that he'll be moving into that starting position. One of the things that's hurt the Saints so far this year is that tight ends have dropped key passes. In fact, they caused 2 football games. The San Francisco game, the Saints could have won it. Rich Castor dropped the pass in the end zone, and also against the Giants, they dropped one. So he's building with youth. He has George Rogers, who has over 800 and some yards. So Bum has taken positive strides. And another thing that he's established here, and I think was lacking in especially the last 4 or 5 years here, is a discipline. He just is not putting up with any horsing around. Bum is a laid-back type guy, but he wants you to give 100% when you're on the field and in the meetings. What you do outside of that is fine.
Now, that's interesting, too, because I believe one of the tags against Bum Phillips in Houston was that he let some players get away with an awful lot, and that he may have lost some of the control of some of the players, that maybe because he was a good old boy, the training camp was more like a country club, and it was more like an outing than it was a summer practice. He comes to New Orleans with a certain amount of discipline, does he?
Well, here's what he does. He's laid back in the sense that, like I said, that he might jump in and play cards with the players or have a beer with them on the plane or something like that. But when they're on the field and in the meetings, he's strictly business. And players love him here. They've been in every one of the games this year. They really haven't been completely blown out of the game. When you, as you know, many years that you played, when you've got 7 rookies starting on defense and some other young people on offense, you're going to make the big mistakes. And that's one of the things that's hurt them so far this year, is just the mistakes.
You got to expect that too out of the young guys. That's
yeah, but
that's built in, I believe.
The thing is, the real major mistakes, jumping off sides down on the 2-yard line and dropping passes in the end zone, and holding when the touchdown. They had a touchdown against I can't remember which team it was. Called against Philadelphia. They was driving, scored a touchdown, and they called it back. Was done by veteran players. The rookies, the mistakes the rookies are making are aggressive, maybe overrunning their assignment or not in the right place at the right time. But some of the big plays are being made by rookies also.
I'll be doing. Well, Danny, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I just wanted a thumbnail sketch of the New Orleans Saints and just exactly where Dan Abramowicz sat today. You sound like you're having fun.
Oh, I'm enjoying it, and I just can't wait to see this team win on a consistent basis and bring a championship team to this city, because I think it would just be a Mardi Gras all over again if this city ever won the championship.
Danny, I've heard more people, Archie has told me that, other people I know in New Orleans, that if the Saints ever won, they could literally walk down Bourbon Street and get anything and everything that their little hearts desired.
Well, it's a fantastic city, and that I know that these fans have hung in there all these years. I don't know of too many cities that you come off a 1-15 record and sell 48,000 season tickets. I just don't know of any place like
You're right.
This one.
You're right. Danny, hopefully some of your old fans and some of your old teammates here in Cincinnati heard you talking tonight. And I won't be in New Orleans with the ball club, but nice talking to you, kid.
All right, Bob, and I'd just like to say hello to all the people in Cincinnati. I enjoyed it, and the city has really done a fantastic job of fixing the downtown area up, and I think other cities should take note of that and maybe do it in some of their cities. So I'd just like to say hello to them, and thank you very much, and good luck, Bob.
Thanks, Danny.
All right.
Bye-bye. Danny Abramowicz, formerly of Xavier, formerly of New Orleans, and now in the oil business down there in New Orleans, in Louisiana. Sounds good. Program Sports Talk on WLW will continue after these important messages.